Flock family. We are live here in Tennessee, and I am Anna Lamb, owner and craft educator here at Oak and Lamb. Behind the scenes over here is Rachel Webb. She is an owner and craft educator. And whenever Becca feels particularly snarky, she'll make a couple comments. That's Becca Oak. She's over holding a baby, digging in some stuff. This is the alleged, legendary Dougie Myers. This is mine and Becca's father. Say hello to Dougie. Say hi.
Hey, everybody. Glad to be here today. I hope you enjoy it. I just want you to know I'm an old East Tennessee hillbilly, and I'm proud of it. And so my language isn't going to be the perfect way to say words because that's who I am. So sit back, relax, and have a good time.
No judgment here, guys.
Guys, ask any questions you have. This is a rare opportunity to delve in the mind that helped create Becca and Anna. Interesting. So ask Doug any questions. I'll be sure to ask him. But Doug is probably the sweetest, most thoughtful man on the earth. So be kind.
And
to
Rachel's already been giving me HELL for being rude to Daddy. Not
I
rude.
just said
It's
you
our
all need
love
to treat him
language.
better. Becca was doing it too.
Yeah.
I won't have nobody be mean to Doug around me. It's just not going to happen.
Or Rachel.
Pause a moment.
What,
At least one of
Becca?
my daughters loves me.
That's true. Did you
What
hear
do
what
you
he
have to
said?
say,
It's
Becca?
true.
It's not being rude.
I just think
It's
you
a
all
love
need to respect
language.
your dad a
It's a
little
love
bit more.
language. As you all know, we are all about safety here at Oak and Lamb. We are going to be using heavy machinery today. So grab your goggles
And your earplugs.
and your earplugs and a miter saw. And yeah, Becca says get you some hot glue and bedazzle these guys, although it does impair your vision slightly. But anyway, today we are going to be making this fantastic Christmas tree.
Anna,
What?
this is my favorite part of the entire thing. How much did it cost to make that
Okay,
thing?
guys, you all are not going to believe this. This whole tree came from one 8-foot piece of 2x4 for like $3.50. The entire thing.
Is that not
It's
insane?
fantastic. You can stain it, you can paint it, you can glitter it or decoupage it or whatever, and then decorate literally however you want. We just had this laying around the studio. You can hang like cup hooks from the inside and hang real ornaments. You could do lights around it. You could put a wreath smack dab on the middle. The good thing about this is once we give you your angles, you're literally going to be able to make it any size you want because the angles are going to be the same regardless. So you could do tall ones with short ones and do a grouping. You can also add a base onto the bottom if you want to. But if you do the base on the bottom of this one, it's more than 8 foot, obviously. So we're just trying to get one out of an 8-foot piece. Hello, Scott.
And Miss Stacy said, "Hi, Dougie. Be yourself. Your daughters are amazing, by the way, and there's no judgment here for just being you."
They're already used to Rachel's East Tennessee accent anyway.
Okay.
Excuse me. My God.
Was it Scott that said hello?
Yep.
Oh, what do we call him? Greg?
Greg.
Greg.
Is his name Greg? What'd you call him at the camp flock all the time?
The whole time, right?
It was Greg.
No.
No, it wasn't
Gary.
Greg. Gary.
I called him Gary.
Old Gary. Hey, Gary.
Hooty hoo, Gary.
Gary in Michigan. So, do we have any questions or anything before we get started?
Let me see here. I don't think so. Oh, Jan says good morning. Good morning, Jan. We have your other half here today. How do you feel about that? He's here. Anna,
Yes. What are we doing?
you're the host. I'm just
you were
a humble
talking, so
servant.
do we want to go ahead and get started? You're my humble servant.
Yeah,
Remember
that's
that. Remember that. Okay, so I'm pretty much gonna let Dad. Do you want to commentate, or just let me tell him, or what do you want to do?
It's up to you, honey. I don't care.
Do you want to go over some basics first?
Go over the supplies we're using and the tools we're using.
Yes.
Okay. All right, the first thing, like Anna said, we just had to get an 8-foot 2x4. Now, to do this as good as you can, you need to pick one that's as straight as possible, which if you go to Lowe's and Home Depot, it's kind of tough, but you can sort through them. And we picked one that had as few knots as possible. Now, you're going to have to take your little block out right there, honey. That's to support the end of it. Turn it up on its end. There you go. That gets us level. Okay, obviously we got a miter saw. We got our earplugs. because I worked around woodworking for 40 some odd years, and
And
I
he
don't
can't hear worth a darn.
That's only because he's listened to Anna for 36 years.
only what?
I said that's only because you've had to listen to Anna for
Yep.
36 years.
Okay, so we got the miter saw, we got her 2x4, as clear and straight as we could find. We've got a nail gun with 2-inch nails, and I'm not used to this one, so bear with me on it.
It's an 18 gauge Ryobi. Will you link that in there?
Did.
Perfect.
'Cause I'm a
Our lovely
professional.
assistant over there,
And then a combination square.
which we love.
And then I always use a Pentel number 9mm pencil with HB lead in it because it stays sharp.
Can we get a link for that, please?
What'd she say?
Can we get a link for that, please? I am going to tell you a little bit about this guy. This is a fantastic. You can get them pretty good deal on these. But an 18 gauge, you can only do, I think it's a 5/8 to a 2-inch nail. So if you're needing anything larger than that, you'll have to go up to a 16 gauge nail gun.
With the air driven. With an air driven gun, you can go to a 2.5-inch 18
Yes.
gauge.
So the reason that we use this on the live instead of an air driven that you'd use with like a pancake compressor, it's so loud. If you have one at home, I would actually prefer that they're stronger and you don't have to recharge them. So that's fantastic. But for most craft purposes, this thing will be super sufficient.
Okay, and then
Were you going to tell them about this guy? I don't even know what this guy
minute.
is. Oh.
this is my favorite ruler. That's what I've used. I've carried on my belt for 40 some odd years. One of my best friends said that all my kids would be born with these things on their side because I always had one with me. All my grandbaby sons, I can't remember whether I gave the granddaughters one, but all my grandsons get one of these right off the bat. And they get this same kind. Now,
Even Charlie.
They can read 30 seconds and 64ths already.
What kind of ruler is it, Doug?
this is a Stanley Powermatic 12-inch with a 3/4 inch blade.
12-inch.
12
12
feet.
foot.
12 feet, I'm sorry.
A 12-foot.
Yeah, that'd be kind of short if it's only 12 inches.
Okay.
Oh,
We get it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you link that bad boy?
All right. Now,
Everybody
Amy
here-
says Doug needs his own YouTube channel. Well, funny enough, Doug
he does
owns
own
part of
this
his
one.
YouTube channel.
He's an owner also.
yep. It's not much of a crafter. Okay, this is a neat little tool. I bought this one at Harbor Freight. It was like $8. It's not the best one in the world, but what you can do is this portion of it rotates. So if you need a 45-degree angle, a 33-degree angle, 22.5 or whatever, you can use this one and rotate it and get to that. It's just, I'm sure you can't see it, but that's your graduations right there, and it's very difficult to read. I actually have to use a magnifying glass to set it. We won't be using this one today because of the way we're going to cut this piece, but it also has this little piece here to help you find centers on things, and then 45-degree down here and your 90-degree here on the combination square. But I'm going to use my faithful old Craftsman today.
Daddy is somewhat of a tool whore, we'll say.
Yeah.
And he will only buy the best of the best on stuff. So if you don't want to spend Craftsman and the expensive Milwaukee stuff, there are cheaper versions of that kind of stuff. But
Like this.
Wait, can we go
Like
back
a-
to the pencil?
To the pencil? Okay.
What millimeter?
9mm.
It's a Pentel 9mm automatic.
Okay, that's what I found. But did you know you can get those in a ton of colors?
Yeah, but Daddy's always done the yellow.
That's what I have, but you can get them in color.
Do you know your son-in-law stole one of those?
Uh-oh.
I said, that's my daddy.
Uh-oh. Man, I have to, which one, Wayne or Mark?
Mark Lamb.
There goes his inheritance.
I know. Good thing I still get mine.
Daddy, they're on sale. $10.14 for 2.
I mean, that's what I like.
Don't lose that guy.
Because the tip stays sharp all the time. You know, you're not constantly having to resharpen it. Now, if you're going to make really long marks with it, obviously you have to advance the lead all the time. But I use called an HB lead, which is comparable to a number 2 pencil. And so it does real well. And that's my favorite pencil to use when I'm doing woodworking.
Precision marking.
Yep.
I will say Dad's miter saw and our miter saw is a little bit bigger than this one. So when we were prepping this, you're able to turn it on its side, which means that you don't actually have to turn the angle of your saw blade. This is just like a 7 1/4 sliding miter compound, miter saw.
Compound miter saw.
Compound miter saw.
Right.
Anyway, so there is an easier way of doing it, but I mean, it's not hard to tilt your blade either. That's fine too.
But this one won't go down through the 2x4 sideways. It gets on the body of it.
Dad's fancy miter saw has this table with these arms that go out and everything, and he said, "What are we gonna prop this up with?" And I'm like, "Dad, you're gonna die when you see how we rig stuff up." So he has rigged. You know, you can stack some books if you want to.
You can't see it because your drink's in the way.
Oh, but you can rig up a.
And it's not sitting right. Turn it on the end.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Dougie.
There you go. Well, you want this flat.
Terrible assistant over here. Okay,
This has got to
so
be flat.
It's not too late to trade out the twin.
who said that?
Becca.
Me.
Just Becca.
Okay, we ready? All right, the first thing we're going to do is we got our little list here that we're making, and obviously we're making this little sketch that I did down here.
Let's go to the overhead so we can get a shot of that.
Look, he drew the little tree and everything. Can you all see his perfect handwriting
Yeah.
here?
Yeah.
Becca and I will have a tattoo of this one day. Not this specifically. Anyway, so this is a list of all your cuts that you're going to make. After you make your first, 45-degree cut?
22 and a half.
There's a 22.5-degree cut
First cut.
on your first. Then you're going to switch to a 45. You only have to make one 45-degree cut the way that he's doing it, and then switch back to your 22. So you're only having to switch your saw blade one time.
Oh, that's nice.
It's fantastic because when you make the 45, it goes ahead and makes your two 45s that you need to make the top of it. So they're assy top.
Well, that's how we do it. We assemble the top, assemble the bottom, and then assemble the top to the bottom.
Assy. Old assy.
That means assemble. That's my shorthand. I told you I was from East Tennessee.
Okay.
All right, you ready?
Let's go
All right, let's
for
make
it.
our first cut. Hold that block right
Okay.
there. All right, let's move this all the way down. We're coming down to the very end, and we're going to set the saw on 22.5 degrees. And this one, fortunately, has a little red line on it. And you set to 22.5 and lock it down. Now, I'm just barely going to cut the end of it, but I got to cut a little bit off of it to be sure we get this thing square. Now, I don't know why they say this, but with a sliding miter saw, they say you're supposed to pull it back and go into it. With a saw that's not a sliding miter saw, you just have to come straight down. So I don't know what the difference is, but I'm going to do it the way they say do it. Okay, there's our first 22.5 degree angle.
Were you going to show them a masking tape trick
I'm
for
not
that?
going to do that on this. We
Okay.
don't have to. Okay, so the first saw, or first piece is 14 inches long to the long side of the 45. All right, now, again, I normally don't do it this way because the tips of these things can wear, and that
And
little
move.
bit of movement right there can really throw you off when you're doing precision woodworking and cabinet making and jewelry boxes and different things like that. But for this application, it doesn't matter. Normally, I pull it out and hold it on 10 and then mark 24. Because if you hold it on 1, it's awful easy to miss that 1 inch dimension on it. Now, I've done that
Oh, I've done it a million times.
numerous times over my life.
So can we go back because you said you were going to do it on the long end of 45.
I will
so let's
explain
talk
that
about
as soon
that.
as he cuts that.
Okay.
I'll show him what that means. It's easier once it's cut to show him.
That's going to be the short end of the 45, the way the saw tilts.
Will it not tilt the other way?
No.
Are you sure?
Daddy.
So we got to move it. We got to move it down there.
I think Becca says it'll tilt the other way.
Huh?
I think Becca says it will tilt the other
I
way.
don't think it will. Nope.
I digress. I was wrong.
Which way do you want the board?
Set it back up there again just a minute. Let me see if that's right. Yeah, that's going to be the short end of the 45 because it's going
Well,
to
let
go
me
this
just
way.
measure that.
Huh?
What the short end is on this.
We got to go the opposite way. I'm not going to do that. We're going to switch what we're doing here.
Okay.
Make it easy. We're going to move the saw down to that end and put the block up here, and that way we can go with it from now on. That's the way I should have done it in the first place. You don't have your earplugs in.
I took them out as soon as you turned it off, thank you.
Okay, now, you see the saw's going to be cutting back this way, so that gives us our long cut on our 45. Let me be sure I'm correct in that.
And guys, go ahead and just be prepared
to
to
long,
adjust your
yep.
volume if you need to do that while he's cutting. I could do it manually, but I think it would mess you guys up too much anyway. So adjust. If you've got earbuds in, take them out.
That is, that's going to hit that piece right there. Hang on, folks. Like I said, I'm not used to this saw. I got to get all the back guards and everything out of the way, or we won't be cutting more.
He asked if I wanted him to bring his saw, and I should have just said yes.
Well, we'll do it.
I didn't even know we had a back guard on our saw.
Tell us what happened there.
I went too fast. I was making I wasn't allowing the saw to do what it was supposed to do. I was trying to push
Do you
it
want to
through.
know how many times he's crucified me over that? Live and learn, guys.
Okay, now.
There is a good learning experience right there.
All right,
Let
so
the saw
now
do its
the
work.
next one is 12 inches.
Let me explain this real fast. Okay, so that's what Dad was saying on this.
And scooch it over.
This way.
Yeah, there you go.
So this is at your 22 and a half degree.
22 and a half.
22 and a half degree cut. This is your 45 degree cut. So when you are measuring this first one, from this point to this point, these are your long points, are 14 inches.
Right.
So if it was cut this way, this would be from your short end to your long point. But this one, so your first cut is 22 and a half degrees, then your second cut is 45 from short or long point to long point. That's what that means.
All right, so now we've already got another we need another piece with 45 on one end. We've already got that because, can you see that?
Side, yeah.
We've already got it because when we split that, we split it on a 45. Now our next piece,
So wait, so you flipped it over though?
I had to flip it over.
Yes, the
Yeah.
piece of wood got flipped over because you're needing that angle.
All right,
in
we
the
got to go
opposite
back to
direction.
22 and a half now. And we won't change it from 22 and a half for the rest of the cuts. It stays 22 and a half. All right, so this one is 12 inches, 22 and a half on one side, 45 on the other, long point to long point. So we're 12 inches.
So same thing as this one,
It's just 2 inches
but
shorter.
it's 2 inches shorter from long point to long point.
And I'm sharing a picture of the plans in the private Facebook group.
Okay.
Okay, so we don't have to move again because we're going to be cutting back this way. That'll be our long point again. You got it, honey?
Mm-hmm.
Now we got some places where it's cut out, but we'll sand that off in a few minutes. All right, now we need 4 pieces exactly alike. And they're
12.
12 inches. Now this is where you get a little bit catchy on it because you got to go from long end to short end.
which was easier when it was turned
Yep,
the
much
opposite
easier.
direct. Like if you can cut it this way instead of, if you can cut it this way instead of this way, this measurement is easier. So if, obviously we're showing you how to do it the hard way if you've got the smaller saw, but
All right, so we got to go 12 inches long end to short end. All right, so this will be our 12 inches. Now, obviously, you could actually set stops up and make this a whole lot easier. You wouldn't have to be measuring all the time. See, if I leave the saw the way it is right now, I'm going to be cutting my angle in the wrong direction. So what I got to do, my daughter's sitting over there laughing at me for some reason.
no, she's not laughing at that.
I'll tell you later. Actually, I probably won't.
Huh?
I'm making fun of Rachel.
Okay.
Per usual.
All right, now what I did, what's your phone, honey? I'm transferring over to the back side of this. That's 12 inches from there to there, but that's got to be short to long. So my angle has got to cut back in this direction. So I'm transferring this line over to the other side of the board, so that that ain't right. Yeah, it is. That's right. Hang on a second. Is that right, Anna?
What?
I'm cutting it right on her.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
The opposite.
So it's in the same line. Okay.
Yeah.
So by transferring it over,
So all of yours are going to be that same way. You don't have to.
no, you have to switch it back and forth now because you can't, it's not cutting down. So every time we turn it, we'll have to turn it. We'll have to flip it.
No, you won't.
Huh?
No, you won't. Look, that's going to continue to cut that way, which is what we need.
Yeah, but I got to mark it.
Oh.
All right, let me have that one. Here's your cheat way, guys. That way you don't have to measure.
Kathy coming in late. What are we making? Kathy, they're making an adorable, really minimalist Christmas tree using one 2x4, an 8-foot 2x4. It's adorable. Anna's going to pop it in. Hang on, let me. Oh my gosh, look. Guys, it's adorable. $3.50 as to what this project came out to be. Insane.
Right, honey. It's got to go that way. You're right. I don't flip it over. Put that back up under. You were correct, sweetheart. I was wrong. First time I've ever admitted that.
Whatever.
All right. So that should be 12. Yep, that's right. Got it?
Mm-hmm.
We got, what, 2 more after this one?
Uh-huh.
Where's that first one? That it right there? I always use, if I do this type of measurement, I always use the very first block, because if you miss your dimension a little bit on each one of them, they keep getting longer or shorter. If you go back to the same one every time, you should come up with the same dimension.
I may or may not have made that mistake lots and lots of times.
You learned a rule, Rachel.
Yep.
What are y'all laughing about?
She's continuing to make fun of me. It's nothing.
I need to be filled in on this later.
Put your block up there, honey.
I can't even, y'all aren't even telling me what the peoples are saying.
I know one thing, you don't wear black when you're doing this. But I look so good in black.
Yeah, do you need an apron, Dougie?
No, don't cook.
You don't cook?
No, I don't cook. Oh, wait a minute. That's not right. We tune in next week for Cooking with Doug. You'll really enjoy it.
He made us a Miracle Whip and bologna sandwich one time.
Just ask my kids. Is that our first one you used right there, honey?
Mm-hmm.
What's your hand, sweetie?
This is our last cut.
And you remember
For
I
this
used
size.
Miracle Whip to make that big old batch of ranch at your house.
Oh,
Because I didn't know.
It's not the first one either. Here it is.
that was nasty.
I tried. I never claimed to be a cook.
One time, Mom was at, Becca, where was Mom at that basketball? A women's retreat, and Dad was in charge of getting us food in between our tournament games. He got us Vienna sausages and beanie weenies and Pringles. And Becca and I threw those things up all over. It was terrible.
Okay, that's 4 of those, right?
Yeesh.
Okay, so now we need a 21-inch long one. That's long point to long point. So, we actually got a little left over here.
Look at
What
that.
about
You
that?
can make it.
I can make
Block.
another block, can't I? We may need it.
Why?
I don't know. Just thought that'd be good to say. Who knows? All right.
Welcome to
Obviously,
the
this
YouTube channel
cut
where
is
we
not
just
so
say whatever
critical.
we want.
You could, well, it is too. You got to have this one the same, the right length, or nothing goes together properly. Okay, that's all our cuts. So,
Shoo!
your plug's out. No, leave that. Leave that.
Oh.
We're going to use that for our stop. Let's get this out of the way.
I apologize.
You should.
You talking about the creases on my head now, or my hair's crazy? My forehead?
It's just from the pressure.
Where's that plugged up?
I'm getting it, Dougie. I'm getting it. Don't you worry.
All right. Plug it there, puppy.
Ooh, where did I plug it? Okay. Clear off your sawdust.
Yep.
Because it does make a difference. Oh gosh, guys, this is nasty.
I bet now you're happy I haven't vacuumed yet.
Sorry.
Okay. The one we put together last night, we didn't put any glue on, but I like to glue stuff. And this is the type of glue that I've used for years.
This is not the Gorilla Glue that we swear by, so.
No, I've used it for years. I love it. It says that it's water resistant. It is water resistant. It's not waterproof, but it bonds wood really well. The company I used to work for, we were a woodworking manufacturing company, and that's what we use, Franklin Type Bond.
Isn't that the stuff that you put on the back porch and tested for like a year or
Yep,
something?
it is.
You remember that? Yep. Okay, so what are we assembling first,
We're
Dougie?
going to assemble the top first.
That is our pieces that have the 22.5-degree cut and the
40.
45-degree
Right.
cut.
Right, we'll
Can we
assemble-
move those over?
Yeah, Dougie, we're gonna put them right here.
I'm not sure we can. I don't know that my clamp will work. You'll just have to hold them.
Well, I can do that.
Okay. You want me to hold them, you shoot them?
No, 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 I trust your shooting better than mine. Someone's gonna lose a finger.
Okay, well, let's see if we can do this. No, that won't work.
It is what it
It's
is.
got to be back here. You really need a place to clamp this or something to hold it, because when you shoot it, it's going to try to pull apart.
I'm real strong though.
Now, I'll tell you what, let's do this.
Glue
When all
it
else
first.
fails, bring out the heavy artillery.
Holy Lord.
That thing is huge.
This only cost one mortgage payment.
No one can see it. We'll have to show it later.
There's another one.
Actually, these are my short ones. I've got 24s, 36s, and
You
48s.
could literally knock someone out with this guy. I'm not joking. It's a true story. This is the heavy duty, 600 pounds right there, guys. It doesn't weigh that. Clearly, I'm just really strong. Jorgensen Easy Hold.
Brenda said his writing looks like a drafter.
He was a drafter.
What I used to
He
do.
used to teach it, actually.
Yep. Taught at Walter.
Dad work.
Right here at Adams Wood Products. It is no longer in existence after how many years?
78
1978.
is when it started. Yep, started in 78, and they shut down actually about a year ago.
Still got those notepads though, Doug.
I do.
Oh, yeah. They're
Why
good
not?
ones.
Okay, guys, the reason I'm clamping this, well, I need to put some glue on it first. Now, one thing about wood glue, end grain, it doesn't do exceptionally good job with it. It's made more for face grain or edge grain.
Can you explain what
The
end grain is, Dougie?
Okay, when you look at the end of a board, this is end grain. That's the way the tree grows, like that. So your rings would be like this. And so the reason it doesn't glue good is because a tree basically is a sponge, so all the sap goes up through the trunk, up like this. Well, it's actually around where the bark is, the outside of the trunk, but it goes up through there. And so, and this is edge grain, and this is face grain. And so when you try to glue this, the glue absorbs into the end grain faster than it does the face grain, so it doesn't hold as good.
It will do fine for craft projects, though.
Yes.
That's just more for wood, like furniture and that kind of stuff.
Well, there are times you still have to glue it that way. You just have to know that it doesn't work as well.
Also, don't put tons and tons on there so that it squishes out. What are y'all laughing about?
Do you think he's lying?
They want to know if you're lying. About what?
About what?
Wood grain.
No. I wouldn't lie to you about, I was going to lie to you about something. It'd be something more important than wood grain.
This never occurred to me. It makes total sense, but it never occurred to me.
Okay, guys, we're getting ready to shoot a nail.
Watch your fingers, folks.
First time with this gun. Whoa, it didn't shoot. There we go. All right, now I'm holding this over to the edge of the table so my gun fits in there good so that I can get to it to shoot it. Yeah, right. I'm putting 3 nails this way, and I'm going to turn around and go back this way.
Can you give us some pointers for getting it in there straight and not shooting out the side?
No, because he did it last night.
I shot it out on that one last night. So you, not really. It's just
Thank you for your honesty.
You squint your eyes and hope for the best.
you just have to try to angle it up and just look at it. You know you got a 2-inch nail in it, okay? This board is 1.5 inches thick. So you got to be sure you're not up so far that you know that it's going to go through it. You just try to hold it at the best angle you can to get as much. But what happens is if you shoot in this angle, that's greater than 1.5 inches this way because you're going on the angle. So you have to turn it a little bit to get through this and get anything into it because all we're getting in there is 1/2 inch, period.
Trial and error, friends. Trial and error.
So then over here, I can drop down further. Now I'm lining my gun up parallel with this because I know I can come down this far and shoot and it's not going to go, it's going to go through this one good and only part of the way through that one.
You know what's hysterical? Last night when Dad was doing this, every time he clicks that, my eyes blink, and I was watching him, his don't. Do your eyes blink when you do stuff like that?
Okay,
I'm
there's
gonna need you to test that out.
there's the top half of the tree.
Look how cute.
Okay, now we're going to do the bottom half of the tree.
Okay, now we'll do that in a second.
All right, so we need 2 of these in the 22-inch one. Now, the 22-inch one goes like this. Your angles are down, obviously, because you're trying to follow this same angle that you got right here. So, we set this one over here like that. And again, we're going to put a little glue on it. Am I setting that right, honey? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark my 2x4 so that I know where to put the glue.
Rachel, maybe we need to put these on your front porch since you have nothing out there.
Well, no, she don't. She's got leaves on it. I saw them.
I have defended you all day, Doug.
Well, she said you didn't
all
have anything.
day I have defended
I'm
you.
sorry, Rachel. You have.
All I do
She's
have
still
is
decorated
leaves.
for fall.
Yeah.
Leaves is all I've got, Anna. If you want to put these out there, I would be more than thankful.
I actually would just like your husband's credit card so I could get a couple things for the front.
I've got one if you want.
I have his credit card too.
Okay.
Jason, I'll be purchasing things for your front porch. You're welcome. Do you love red?
I really shouldn't have glued that one yet because it's going to run off while I'm trying to get this one lined up. Wipe that off.
Oh.
There's some paper towels over there. The reason I said I shouldn't have glued that one because while I'm trying to get this all lined up, that glue's going to run down on the table, and we don't want to do that. We'll glue it.
Oh, it's okay. Rachel's got glue all over
Well,
the
I
table.
know, but that's Rachel, not me. It's her table, it's not mine.
You paid for it, actually.
Okay. Okay. Now, again, I'm trying to get this over close to the edge of the table so I can get my gun in there to shoot it. Sometimes this clamp won't work because this piece may be thinner than this piece, or that one may be thicker than this one, and so it doesn't clamp up and hold it like it should. So you got to be careful with that. See this? See how that one's moving? Because it's not holding anything. All right, so we'll just have to hold it and hope for the best. It's just all sight, guys, when you start doing this. I mean, you just have to visually line everything up.
Anna, move the top of it.
Do what?
Move the top of the plate.
Move this one.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay, so then I'm going to turn it over this way, and I'm going to shoot it back again like this. And see, that way it makes a good strong joint. All right,
That's
now,
a relative strong.
Relative
Once it dries,
strong.
it'll be better too.
well, I mean, you're not going to, this,
Technically, if
It
you
should
wanted
be
these
put
super
screws.
sturdy, you could put screws in them.
but we didn't want to have to go through all the boring process and all that right now.
Well, and we're not standing on them.
Boring process.
That's pretty boring.
He made it funny.
Ba-da-ba. Oh, I'm sorry. I did not
You didn't knock the sharp edges off
sand
for me,
your edges,
there.
Dougie.
assistant.
We have a friend that said we need more lives with Dougie.
She actually said days with Dougie, and I kind of like that. We could just call it
Dougie
Days
days.
with Dougie.
Dougie days.
We'll see.
No, if me and Anna want it, it'll happen.
That's true. I am kind of a pushover when it comes to my kids.
Actually, what happened is I said, Dad, I need you to say yes. And he said, I've learned not to say yes to anything that you say without knowing what I'm getting into. I was slightly offended. But then he said yes.
Yeah, I'm here, aren't I? Okay, now one thing you got to do is you got to be sure this clamp is out of the way so your gun, can you get your gun in there? And obviously I didn't have it out of the way on that one. And these 2x4s aren't the same thickness, so that makes it a little tough to All right, now we got it. And we will shoot. One. And I'm putting 3 nails in each side. And I shot that one out. See there?
Oh,
I shot
no
it too
more
low.
doggy days.
No more Dougie days.
Look what I got you.
I don't want that. I want a pair of pliers. Right there. Besides, that's a sissy hammer.
You heard that, folks.
That's your mom's hammer. It's not my hammer.
The head comes off. Be careful.
Sorry, didn't mean to say that, but I did.
Uh-oh.
The reason I said that is because my wife has one of those, and I've always called it her sissy hammer. She uses it all the time. I don't.
Hannah, what happened to that? You were trying to pry something off with it, weren't you?
No, I swear to you, I was just teeting that, the gobbler, dobbler, dobble, goggle, dibble, what was that thing on the bell?
Okay, there's our top and bottom together, folks.
A teat, teat, teat.
All right, now we got to assemble the 2 pieces.
What was that thing called?
Get that monster
A
out of the way.
dangler?
A
Not a
golden-
dangler?
Did that come out of here, honey?
This is going south really bad.
Yeah.
Changing gears, is
to,
Doug still driving for FedEx? And if so, how did you manage to get him to come during the Christmas rush? Yes, Doug has retired 100 times, but is still working there. He was there yesterday. And
We'll be there tomorrow.
basically,
Dougie does whatever we ask.
and Wayne brings him in, and we told him he wasn't coming in today.
So on this, are you overhead right now, Rach?
I am.
You are gonna space from here to here is 1 3/4 inch.
Provided you get all your dimensions right.
Yes,
Okay.
it should be 1 3/4 inch in
Now,
order for it all to line up correctly.
Okay, folks. Is that 1 3/4? Pretty darn close.
Dad, you've not taught their measuring
Oh, I
course
haven't
yet,
yet.
so you have to tell them if it's 1
right.
3/4.
And
That's
this,
Rachel.
this side is actually 1 1/2. So we're off. This didn't work exactly right. And it doesn't matter. I mean, how many symmetric trees have you ever seen?
Oh, we're justifying this. And also, it's going to depend on whether or not your board is a little warped. That will
Absolutely.
honestly.
All right, let's
throw
get this side first. It'd be easier to get done. Get over here, and then we'll flip it over. All right, so I'm going to measure 1 5/8 down here. I'm working on 10.
5/8.
Yeah, because that's what was on the other side. All right, there's 1 inch. There's a 1/2 inch. That's 5/8 right there, and I'm shaking like a leaf, obviously.
Wait a minute, a ruler has 5/8?
Actually, a ruler's got 21/30 or 32/32 on the ruler.
Are y'all being mean?
Oh, wait a minute. It's beat up Rachel Day.
I feel like that's every day.
How are you the
actually.
star and you're not even on?
No.
Okay,
That's
so
how
I've
good
got
you
that
are.
lined up.
Presents.
Can you see those little marks I put on
No,
it?
Dad, they can't.
You
Yeah,
can't
they
see.
can.
Oh,
Okay, all right. So then I'm going to clamp that.
With the sissy clamps.
Yep, with the sissy clamps that I probably use more than any other clamps I've got. And it's a funny story. My wife bought this thing, I called it a sissy ladder when she got it.
Oh, it is a good ladder.
And it's probably got more paint on it than any other ladder I own.
Let's just preface
Or
all
she
this by
owns,
saying my
and so-
father is not misogynistic by any means.
What's
He
that mean?
says, like you're a woman hater.
Oh, Lord, no, I love my woman. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. She prayed me into existence.
Well,
She prayed me through death, seriously. I'll explain that story someday.
Uh-oh, Fred's here.
I
Frederick.
think we're out nails. No, let's quit shooting. Hey, son. Don't say anything rude now.
I wish Ben would get on here so I could ask Doug who his favorite child is.
Yes,
It's not Ben.
all of them. We have to pull that out. I don't know why it didn't shoot it in.
Couple of ways
Or
we can look at that.
is our battery going dead?
It might be, but there's one on the floor.
Let's put a new battery on it. Somehow it didn't sink this nail over here.
I brought me a battery.
We'll have to pull that one out.
Where are those pliers you had?
Have you got anything bigger than those?
No, Doug, this is a craft shop.
Yeah, that's it. That battery's going down.
No, I want a real hammer.
Maybe Dad could
Did
buy
I
us
not buy
one.
you all a real hammer?
Not for
I have it in
here.
my
I
house.
started to say, I thought I'd bought you all tools.
You stopped too soon, though.
Oh, look at
I
that.
have some things I'd like to
Hit that knot.
request.
See this? It hit that knot right there and followed its way out.
That's okay.
Well, I should have been shooting away
Oh,
from
it's
that knot.
the knot's fault.
It's the knot's fault. That's it. It has to be because I was shooting down. It couldn't have come up.
Yeah, oh.
All right.
What do you want, Dougie?
I want a big pair of pliers if we can find them.
I'm gonna tell you we can't.
Okay, well, we'll just have to use these.
That is a plier. What do you want?
He wants a bigger pair.
I want a pair
These
that
are
I-
needle nose.
That I can pull with because I want to pull them out rather than break them
I
off.
have one that would do this.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll fix this in a minute. All right, we just got to be sure that we don't get.
Hey, look, that'll cut it off. Oh, here's a wrench.
No, there was a blue handled one that you could like.
Pry with it.
Yeah.
I bet Jason thieved it.
I bet he did.
That's all
Like,
right.
they're
We'll
probably
we'll
in
work
that
it out
kit
here in a
over
minute.
there at the table.
Well, it was at the other studio.
We'll work it out.
Did you say Jason
What is
took
that?
them?
That didn't shoot. Not shooting.
Is it clogged?
I don't know, honey.
I've got mine in the car if I need to go get it. Wow!
Whoa! Release the pressure first, Myers. Get some dust off of it.
Fred, that is correct. Ben is the oldest.
That's
In
they're
my
in
mind.
there.
Well, why didn't it hold?
I don't. They're in there.
Well, it didn't hold for some reason. That one held. It's in there now.
We had that one in.
Okay, and 2 more sides, and we are
One more
finished
side.
with this. Oh yeah, one more side.
Here, hold that a minute. Uh-oh. I'm gonna have to get that. I'm gonna have to fix that. We're gonna tear the table off.
Anna, what you drinking?
This is a chai tea latte, and it's not my favorite. I just tried it today. Our local Starbucks is brand new, and so people have flocked there, and we've run out of lots and lots of flavors.
Even though there's a Starbucks 0.2 miles down the road, less than that,
But it's not a drive-through.
but it's not a drive-through.
Okay, so let's see. Everything's the same. I told you. I'm not.
Little hands.
Okay, our angles are slightly different somewhere because this one's 1 3/4 inches on this side.
What's the difference in 1 3/4 inches and 1 5/8 inches, Dougie?
Can you see the ruler?
Yeah,
Okay, can you see all these little marks on it?
kind of.
Okay. Obviously, let's go from 10. That's 1 inch right there. See it? That clear?
Yeah.
All right. These larger marks coming away from the 1 inch are eighths. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That dimension right there is 5/8. That's 3/4, which is 6/8.
So it's 1/8 of an inch.
Eighth of an inch difference.
Or 2
2/16.
2/16. I didn't think I
Or
was.
4/32.
I didn't
Or
think I was.
8/64.
The truth is,
Huh?
you have to be a little bit good at math and fractions
Fractions are.
I am not making fun of you, but if numbers and math do not like just
gonna
click and make
struggle.
sense, then it is going to be a struggle, and there's nothing to be ashamed about.
No,
for
it's
that.
nothing to
Just
shame of.
Google it.
I understand, but here's something I taught Anna about a year ago. If you start off with an inch, that's 1/1, right? That's your.
Or 12 over 12 or 32 over 32.
Well, let's do 1/1. That's easier. 1/1. That's 1 inch. Okay, what's half of 1 inch?
You double the denominator.
1/2. So you multiply the numerator. The numerator's top, right? Denominator. Multiply the denominator by 2. That's a half. What's half of a quarter? Of a half?
A quarter.
So you multiply the
Denominator.
denominator by 2. You get 4. That's a quarter. Okay. What's half of a quarter?
8.
Eighth. So multiply the 4 by 2, you get an eighth. 16th the same way, 32 the same way. That's how you divide them down. That's the easiest way to do it.
Rachel, there will be a quiz next week. You're going to need to go ahead and get studied up.
Throw up.
That's going to be a New Year's live game for Rachel. Tune in for that. That's going to be on
not shooting again,
January
honey.
31st.
No, for real, we are having a New
December
Year's live,
31st.
and that might actually be fun. Rachel has to measure all of these different things,
And then I'll go back
then
and see if
Anna will
she's
do it.
correct.
I like this, Rachel. She does not look happy.
It's going to be fun. And
She looks like she'd rather get a root
I'll fix you a
canal.
cheat sheet, Rachel.
no, you won't, Dad.
No, yeah,
We're not cheaters here. You wouldn't ever let us cheat.
I don't know, but it's true.
He taught us to cheat.
It ain't a foul unless the whistle blows.
Oh my gosh.
Is
I found out a couple games.
well, the whistle blew. That's right.
They pinpointed us.
All right. For some reason, well, I got into a knot on this side, so it didn't. That one didn't shoot well again too. So. Why isn't it shooting, honey? There we go.
To be flush.
Is that it?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're not flush.
I like my gun better.
Papa,
There
say
you go.
hi to Chappie. He's watching.
Hey, Chappie.
It's not
I
going to
think
do
you're
it at
gonna
this
get it
angle.
flush.
It won't.
Wait a minute. Let me try something. It really needs another nail in there. Let me have it back.
Chappy.
There we go.
Taking one to the gut. I could see it.
There we go. Now we got it. Okay.
That is it, folks. That is it. Look how cute she is.
And if you want to make it taller, you can put the little base underneath it. It's same as this piece right here,
But
except it's
shorter.
12 inches long, from long to long, which would raise it up 1.5 inches.
But you, like I said, you can make them any height you want. Just use the same angles.
Is there a reason you didn't glue the side pieces?
I forgot it. I got in too
Which
big a hurry.
brings me to the point. You don't have to glue in.
You don't
No.
have to. It's just if you want it to be extra sturdy.
That's the reason I didn't glue them. I just forgot to do it.
That was it.
That would be stronger, the joint would be stronger here because you're gluing face grain to face grain. But since I shot it in both directions, it'd take a lot to tear it apart.
Mythical glue green.
Listen, we're just gonna quiz Rachel on all woodworking terms on New Year's Eve.
I think I have a couple down.
Okay.
Now, I just want to say, I have made some nice woodworking projects in my day. Have I?
Are they still assembled?
You'd have to ask Tanner. I don't know.
Okay.
Couldn't tell you.
I gotta clean the top of it.
Fred said it's a beaut, Clark.
It is. Truly is, guys. Truly is. Does anyone have any questions?
They are really cute.
Okay, I'm available for any questions.
Any deeply personal questions for Doug?
I'm 70 years old. I'm not single. I've been married to the same beautiful woman since 1976. Who has what?
She still has sissy tools. Sissy tools.
Oh, well, no, she's got some good tools too. I bought her some good tools. It's just that there's certain tools that she likes, like the small hammer. She don't like a big hammer because she said it doesn't fit good in her hand. So anyway,
questions?
you got to use what works for you, folks.
Yep.
Is there a smaller saw that would be good?
No, you
That's
don't.
the smallest.
You don't want anything any smaller than that. It'd be really tough to cut through these 2x4s. And I don't know of another. I mean, like Anna said, I don't buy small tools for me.
I think that's the smallest
It may
miter
be.
saw you can buy, actually. Yes, the one that it's not
Yeah.
a sliding, but then your cross section's going to be pitiful, basically.
I wouldn't think of it. I wouldn't consider one smaller. If I was going to do anything, I'd buy one a little larger.
Mine is a 10-inch, so it and that's what we said that was a 7 1/4.
7 1/4, yeah.
Mine's a 10-inch, and it does almost everything that I need.
And they're still, what, less than $200 for
Oh,
one of
yeah,
those?
it was
Oh
like-
yeah, it was like $130 for the 7 1/4 one. I mean, they're pretty cheap.
And like we said, if you're just doing crafting stuff, Ryobi has proven for us to be a great brand. It
Yeah.
honestly has. We've not had any complaints out of the manufacturing of it or the charge holding up on our batteries or anything like that. If you are going to get into something more professional, contact Dougie. He'll
Anna,
tell you
did
what
you
to get.
stain the one next to you?
I did stain this one.
Early American. I
Whatever
linked it.
Rachel picked out is what I stained.
I linked it for you. And
Yes.
another question we had, Fred said, "Why am I your favorite, Doug?"
We didn't ask Jan who her favorite was. We asked Dougie.
I remember saying that, yes, they were all my favorite. Yep. So you think you're my favorite?
I am the executive of your estate.
That's true.
That's just because you're the smartest, not necessarily the favorite.
I would take that as a win because Anna called you smart. Take it as a
Well,
win.
she knows she's smart.
Take it as a win.
Okay. Well, thank you all so much for joining in.
Kat wants to know if
Oh.
she's the sister wife. Or no, hold on.
No, Jane said, "Kat, are we sister wives?" Because Kat said,
Doug's other wife.
Oh,
"Yeah," and then Jane said, "So we're sister wives."
this is going to get awkward.
I didn't know it.
I think we should peace out on this one. Anyway,
Hooty hoo, Cat. Hooty hoo.
Who do you?
thank you all so much for joining in with us. And we hope you enjoyed this project and gift some to other people because it's a super fantastic price point.
Yeah. Join Oak and Lamb if you haven't already.
Do that.
You
yes,
can use the code
absolutely.
JINGLE, JINGLE, at checkout for $45 off your annual membership. Not just this year, but every consecutive year you stay with us, which is the only coupon code all year long where we give you that. It's amazing.
It is our best sale ever.
And if you all join, we'll bring Dougie back.
Ooh, that's a good incentive. Dougie only comes back if we get paid, people.
Yeah, I got some things in mind.
He works for free, though, so. Thank you all so much. We will see you Thursday at, do we have a time for the live on Thursday?
10.
10 o'clock
10
on
a.m.
Thursday. Thank you all so much.
Bye, guys. Happy Merry Christmas from East Tennessee.